Hello everybody. Today I just wanted to show you the example of the menu where we use the flexbox to handle the top navigation, and we have the our nav, so image input label UL, and we also have a flex wrap on our nav when it hits a breakpoint of 960, so the nav items within the nav they would wrap. And let me just remove this 1 second. So I'm just gonna show you guys in the browser. So this is our nav at 960. Okay, but this is actually my markup that I'm trying to convert into WordPress. And what happens is WordPress spits the extra div, like a div that wraps the menu. It's just the WordPress function that puts this div by default around the menu. So it didn't work for me. So I decided to like create this test. So by adding the wrapper div to this, and let's see what happens. So if we add this extra div, so our selector, this selector wouldn't work because it will not target the UL, but we can still target UL by using this one. So we'll just add this div here. So now let's see what happens to our menu. Okay, it hits breakpoint, and one moment here, it doesn't. Yeah, you will have this rule. Okay, I'll show this later. So let's see. So we added extra div, and we have this rule targeting the UL. Okay, you see. So at 960, there is some space, and this space is actually the space added by this div where we have our menu. And the menu, you guys probably know about this. It's called a checkbox hack. And basically the way this, but you can guys Google it. But basically the way this works is we have our UL where we declare some properties, but we are transitioning max height, opacity, and visibility. And with this rule, you see checked selector, which applies to input, to this one. So on checked, what happens is the max height becomes 35, opacity 1, and visibility visible. Okay, so here we have visibility hidden, max height 0, and opacity 0. Okay, so back to our div. So when we add the div, so this is what happens. You see, we added the div. We still have our menu here, but it just stuck within the div. And why it's stuck? Because this is no longer working, because it's declared on this nav. Nav is a container of these items. So before it was targeting UL because it was a direct child of that nav, but now it's no longer targeting it. That's why This is what we see in the browser. But I usually go to SitePoint forums where people is way more professional, way more experienced with CSS, and usually I go there if I get stuck. Um, Even though in this situation I actually was not stuck, but I was just curious what happens with that div, and is there any other ways to handle, because I can remove the div and it would be working. So at SitePoint I was given this suggestion to use this rule, so I have it here to target that div as a flex item. And basically what happens here, we target this div and we give it flex1 meaning flex grow. 1 means our div can grow. Then 0, it's flex shrink. 0 means our div wouldn't shrink. And flex basis 100%, which means our div would become 100% wide when it hits 960 pixel breakpoint. Okay, so we add this to the div, and let's see what happens. Now we're at 960 and now it works. Okay, so the point here is we have two solutions. We can use this with the extra div if we need it. If we don't need it, we can remove it and it would still work. Okay, but the main point here is it looks like the container properties are only applied to direct children here, even though there's a way to handle situation like this. Okay, so I hope guys this video was helpful, and as always, thank you for watching.